Hello and welcome to Pedantic Handwavium, the podcast that tries to explain fictional worlds using science. I'm Simon.
And I'm Jeff.
Oi, governor! Guess what we're doing this time?
Is it, not even, Cockney accents? They're so bad Cockney accents?
Honestly, I can't do an English accent.
We may have noticed. The entirety of the internet may have noticed.
Yeah, nope, can't do it. I was going to continue going, but, I honestly can't. I can't do it.
I'm real disappointed and thrilled at the same time.
So, for anyone who doesn't know what Doctor Who is, it's a British sci-fi television show that's been going for 50 years, on and off. So they say that they've been going for 50 years. They really haven't. They took a really long hiatus. And so there's
it's just semantics at that point. Definitely 50 years.
Right? There's a huge... It's had a modern revitalization.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't try and be good science fiction, is what I would say. A large portion of the time, it kind of...
Oh, yeah, it's just, pants on head, fun time.
Yeah. Let's just have fun with what crazy stuff we can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole basis of the show is that he's an alien who likes to, we'll say...
He being the Doctor, I assume.
Or it, actually, they.
Yes, that's more accurate, I suppose.
Yeah, and they is probably the most appropriate pronoun for the Doctor. They like to voluntarily kidnap people from Earth and bring them on adventures, which... Even though these adventures span all of time and space, they seem to spend a lot of time in modern-day England.
It's funny how that works out, eh?
It really is. Really England between the period of, 1920 to 2010. So there's that. But he's a time traveler, and he can also kind of do a teleportation kind of thing. In an old police box that's a time machine.
Right. That is also bigger on the inside than the outside.
Yeah, I feel like I could have described this better.
You got it in broad strokes, I guess.
Yeah. Look it up. Google's a thing. The first thing we gotta address. How does he jump through time and space?
With the Tardis. Clearly. It's right there in the show.
So, there is a little bit of a difficulty with this because when I was researching this episode, turns out everybody and their mother has written a book on the science of Doctor Who.
Oh, that's good. We have a lot of source material to work with then.
I've read and listened to none of it. Except for one.
Alright, I take it back. We have no source material to work with then.
One guy did, a show that was on Netflix for a little while called The Science of Doctor Who, and it was just, a seminar where he just goes through the science of Doctor Who.
Okay.
He proposed that Doctor Who kept a black hole in the TARDIS, and the crazy thing about black holes is that they turn causality cones, which are these little cones of what's possible for something to happen. That's a weird way to say it.
Are you saying it's an improbability drive from Hitchhiker's Guide?
No, actually. The improbability drive works in a different way. Improbability drive works by taking all probabilities and making them equal.
Okay.
This works in although ironically similar way now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
It takes so everything that you can cause, everything that you can be causally related to in the world has to be within a distance that would allow light to move from you to it. So as time goes on, your causality grows outwards. So you can't affect the moon immediately. if you were to affect the moon in some way, it would take you however many light seconds it takes from you to the moon. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, because that's just literally as fast as anything can go.
Yeah. So the idea being is that when you muck around with space, which is what black holes do, you take this cone and you actually shift it 90 degrees, or close to. So things that are farther away become easier for you to interact with because space is getting stretched out.
Okay.
That's kind of how he explains it. I don't like that explanation.
It's a real esoteric explanation. Let's dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah. And it's kind of like saying... It's just, I don't really like it. I think it's difficult for someone who hasn't taken relativist physics to understand.
Right.
So how does he affect time and space in a far simpler way? So here's my idea. Do we want to have Doctor Who actually go to these places?
I think it makes the most sense that the Doctor actually goes to those places. Because I believe there was at least one episode where they had to try to not paradox on themselves.
Yes. Okay. So he actually is going to these places.
Mm-hmm.
What is a way that you could travel through time and space easily?
Well, there's walking, for one. That's mostly in one direction, though.
There's existing. You travel through space there. Maybe. Okay, I do have a thing.
Okay, go on.
Maybe the TARDIS doesn't travel through time like a time machine normally would, but instead of what it does is nope, that doesn't work. I was gonna say
yeah, I feel like you would have to also explain how a time machine normally travels through time, aside from forward.
I mean, like, we think of it as moving through time like we move through space, but what if it's stuck moving through time at the same rate as human beings are, but it just lasts forever? Like, it's an infinite amount of time that it lasts. So it has its causality cone encompasses all of the world, and all you're actually doing when you're in the TARDIS is think of the TARDIS as being like a pocket world. So you in the TARDIS are only moving, maybe the TARDIS maybe 10 meters wide or something like that. Right. I'm sure it's larger than that in fiction or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, are we talking about like the police box end of it or the entirety of it?
I'm talking about just the police box end of it.
Okay.
So the internal dimensions actually don't. 10 meters is huge for us.
Yeah, 10 meters is huge if you're talking just the police box.
It's maybe a meter cubed, and maybe like 2 meters, 3 meters high, 2.5 meters high, or something like that.
Okay.
I now have to convert to. I don't know why I'm doing this in metric. It's like 3 feet by 3 feet by like 7 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it has existed for such an amount of time that its causality cone encompasses all of space. So what you're actually doing is not moving through time and space. You're just moving to a different version of the TARDIS that it has existed in that world at that time while you're inside of it. Make sense?
So then the assumption would be that it could, exist at all places at all times, though.
Yes. However, unless someone has already used that section of time and space to go someplace. So you wouldn't be able to go back to the same time and place as before because you would have already existed there.
Well, yeah, that is at least one episode, though, that they have done that.
Gone back to the same time and place?
Yes. I mean, they might not have... I don't think they landed the TARDIS at the same place. But, there were multiple instances of the Doctor and their companion.
And I'm pretty sure it causes paradoxes and, crazy stuff to happen.
Yes.
Are you talking about the run where Karen Gillan dies?
I have no idea. It was like a bunch of dinosaur monsters attacking a church because churches are less time sensitive or something.
Yeah, do not remember that episode. That must be... Is it in the old series?
No, actually, it's in one of the new ones.
I have no clue if that's possible. But we'll say that in maybe specific circumstances, it can happen, but it's very dangerous. Oh, wait. I do know one where that happens. I don't know how to explain that. I like my version, though.
I think... Yeah, I don't know. Would wormholes be able to affect, like, forward and backward through time in theory as well?
You know, I thought about space. That. I don't see why not. Because if you think about it, it would just be like the same, like anything that you can do to space, you can do to time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, yeah. Oh, yeah. So
okay. Yeah, I kind of like this idea. And the, like, TARDIS noise that it makes when it's, like, charging up, is it generating a wormhole or something?
You want to go wormhole? Yeah, we can do wormhole.
Yeah, we can go wormhole.
Sure, so it's just creating a shortcut, a spatial shortcut. That's kind of like what I was thinking, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so wormhole is bending space and time so that it can jump between those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's how, like, they explain it in the show, too. I'm not actually too sure.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what they might have tried for canon explanations.
If it is a wormhole, how come they can't go some places?
Can they not go some places?
Yes, actually.
Or do they not go some places?
They cannot go some places. It's like a deflection. It's weird. There's a really specific episode where they have to go to, like, it's, you know, the wibbly wobbly timey wimey quote?
Right, yes, with the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
Like, first of the new series. I don't know if they were an old monster or not.
They are. It's not the first of the new series, though.
Well, the first time that they were in the new series, at least.
It wasn't actually that either. But anyway, it's it's when they're stuck in, like, a place that, like, is a constant feeding for them. They are there. They're in a hotel in Manhattan. And they appear a few times before that, but they're never, like, major villains.
They weren't like the antagonists of the episodes?
Yeah. Or they were. They are the antagonists of some episodes, but they're not, like, those episodes don't pertain to the entire arc. This is, like, a very major episode where major things happen, and they need to be, like, stuff has to happen inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one where they're like, why can't we go to New York in 1935 or whatever, 1947? And the guy's like, well, we can't. Or the doctor's like, we can't. So one of the characters is like, why can't we just go to, like, New Jersey and then take a train in? And he's like, well, just because you can't. So what would a wormhole have? Are we saying the wormholes, maybe they don't go away? They stay there? So you can't have, like, a wormhole into a wormhole easily?
Or it might be that is the site of some major Time Lord actions before or after. So, like, there's already some weird time sink or something.
So it's like putting a black hole next to a black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where they just kind of smash into each other and annihilate each other. So if you do that with two TARDISes, you'll just get two TARDISes that are the same TARDIS smashing into each other. Gotcha. That makes sense.
Well, because going back to the one episode that I was thinking of, like, they had the TARDIS, like, 10, 20 meters away from the other TARDIS when they went back to the same place. So I'm thinking if it's, like, a major, like, they had gone there too many times, or there were too many, I don't think they're all called TARDISes what the whole Time Lords travel in? They're all TARDISes?
TARDIS stands
the class and not the class of the ship and not the name of the ship?
It's the class of the ship, not the name of the ship, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it could just be a lot of them had gone to the same place at, relatively speaking, the same time.
Okay. So it's like putting several black holes next to each other.
Right, yeah. Like, it can support one or two.
Maybe, but like that's like a delicate maneuver. You don't want to... The more black holes you put next to each other, the more likely they're going to just annihilate each other and just mess things up. Mm-hmm, okay, that makes sense. So, we have time travel figured out. It's wormholes.
Easy, got it.
Easy, got
What's
it.
next?
It's just wormholes. What if... So the Doctor has the ability to regenerate.
Right.
And every time he regenerates, he can... Or he may or may not have a different body or face. Which has got to be really... Well, I'm not going to get into it. Okay. What is... and regeneration energy is like considered like one of the most powerful energies in the world. Or in the universe. Because obviously, when we're talking about a universe, the world is not a particularly large-scale thing. What is regeneration and how does it work?
That's a good question. How is it, like, defined in the show? Like, what happens in the show? Is it just the Doctor, like, becomes a glowy golden light and then turns in, like, metamorphosizes into something else? Or do they pupate?
He just kind of metamorphosizes. So it's a blinding light. It takes him a little while. He remains as his old self for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But he eventually will transform into a different... So I guess pupate is a pretty good word. It's actually how I would describe it. It takes a little while, and it seems like it's like his internal organs change first, and then his face is one of the last things to change. Do we think maybe it's not so much that they are... I was thinking something along the lines of like, if there's like a way that like their biology, because it's a Time Lord ability. It's a biologic Time Lord ability. They have this inherent. It's not part of the TARDIS.
Right, yeah. And do they always look hominid?
They do.
Just like people, or...
They always look hominid.
Will they sometimes look like other species, or...
Time Lords look human. Actually, humans look Time Lord. Because Time Lords came first.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a fair point. Yeah. I'll give you that one.
they actually make that point in the show several times. So I'm trying to think of like a biologic reason why you would have a different face. And what if Time Lords are not products of evolution? So they don't have like babies like humans do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they were, like you had said, not products of evolution, something separate for whatever reason, or they have, like, differentiated themselves where they could guide their own.
Yeah, genetic abilities. So maybe the Time Lord...
Oh, actually, yeah, they could have done something to modify it, like, with the intent of that, like, effective... immortality.
Yeah, of being able to... So now we're going to get into a really weird section, which is I like to call the modern search for immortality. So there is...
Just stop aging, Simon, clearly.
There are some like really good... It's really good and also kind of weird science that goes on about how you don't die. I would say... might be a good... Maybe this is what it is. Maybe they have mastered a way where they say the way you don't die is not like replacing your organs. It's by, you maintain your consciousness.
Right.
Or maybe you not even... Maybe you just your memories. And then you transfer into a new body that's fully formed. So that's why I'm saying they're not evolutionary creatures. They're creatures that are... created fully formed. They are like...
Okay, yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're really just like collections of
just tardigrades stacked on top of each other.
It's the ultimate creation. I have an idea. So remember our Pokemon episode when we were trying to do?
Sure, yeah.
When we were trying to do
and
Pokemon...
they just turn into data.
No. It was the idea that like Pokemon when they evolve just like liquefy and then reform as a new being. What if that's what happens, and that's why there's the blinding light in the television show, because it's like a sensor for
because they can't let us see how terrifying that is.
Yeah, like a human being liquefying themselves and then recombining into a new thing.
All right, yeah, I don't know if they've ever like had. No, I guess they would have had the camera on the Doctor while they
like zoom in on his face.
Oh, just to make it that last bit terrifying.
Oh, well, except for they censor it. The raw data, I'm sure, is horrifying from this very real television show.
Yes. I don't like to keep leaning on
old tropes.
They're censoring it because I feel like that's too easy of an explanation.
Maybe Time Lords are like, we think of as like androids as being mechanical. What if Time Lords are creatures that are androids, as in they are half human, half made, not natural? You know what I'm saying?
What if they're more that like they are the thought and the memories and the consciousness, and the body is just a means to interact with the rest of people?
Yeah, I like that.
The body just straight doesn't matter for the Time Lord, but they do also like having companions that they can interact with.
And they need... So you run into like a brain in a jar situation, which is like, what does the brain in the jar feel? And the Time Lords have been like, well, we don't want to be brains in jars. We want to have bodies.
We want to be brains in meat sacks. Yes.
So really, they are just like cloud-based data that's held through this like Tardis network. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why there's a common thread where a doctor needs to be near the TARDIS to regenerate. So what if...
Oh, okay. Is that a thing?
I believe so.
Sure.
So what if... Or maybe it's safer for them to regenerate inside of a TARDIS or something like that. But maybe that's where the TARDIS really comes in, is that the TARDIS has created this, like, interconnected internet. Or, like... I don't want to call it Wi-Fi, but, like... it's like a field stabilizing the otherwise incorporeal thought, or that it connects the servers back on Gallifrey that contain all of the persons.
Gallifrey being the home planet of the Time Lords.
Yeah. That holds all the information that contains person's personality and memories, and then it uploads it into the new biologically created body.
Okay, yeah. Or having it, like, connected to it is just like a failsafe. So if something goes wrong, then it can use, like, the backup copies.
Yeah.
That explains why they don't have to be in the TARDIS.
Yeah. And the idea being that the bright light you see is the energy that's emitted from transferring so much information across what seems to be an impossible time, really. Like you're too far away, you're too far in time for this to really work, but because of the wormhole that's created to transfer information, that's where you get that kind of blast of energy. And we could even say that blast of energy vaporizes the original humanoid, and a new humanoid is built into its place using just the information that was there that it wants to use. Okay.
Or there's just, like, tubes full of meat that, like, are sent with the like, thought data.
Well, not even, like, tubes full of meat, but, like, tubes full of subatomic particles. Like, go down, like, building something up from the very smallest component. Because this is something this is a service system that's in my brain. is like the ideal quantum computing system. So it doesn't even need that much space to just consume and just be able to process everything. But in fiction, there are like technology centers on Gallifrey. So if you have like a planet-sized quantum computing system, you have the ability to compute the interactions and the regenerations for an entire population of humanoids.
Yeah, well, they also essentially have like infinite time and space to do that.
Yeah, and maybe the reason why Time Lords have two hearts and things like that, which is something maybe we'll get into, is that it's all just ways of saving data. So they only ever need to create half of a Time Lord, and then the other half is just like the same time.
Yeah, it's just a mirror.
Yeah, the same information saving that goes on in like normal Earth genetics. But to an even more extreme degree, where they're like, well, holdovers from...
We got halfway there. That's close, right?
Well, it's... I'm thinking even more like holdovers from when they're...
Just Control-C, Control-V. We got the rest of the guy.
I'm thinking of it more like holdovers from when their bandwidth was crap, and so they needed to have like really creative solutions.
Right.
Cool. Well, we just got Time Lord solved. Now let's do other aliens. Let's do my favorite alien race from Doctor Who, which are...
Is it that face lady?
It's the bat face lady?
Not the bat face. Is it that like stretched face lady?
No. That's weird and creepy. I don't want to talk about that. Is that can't be the first... That's like the second or third episode for the new series.
Yeah, that's pretty early in the new series,
yeah.
And I feel like that's not actually... a species that is just
it's a human
brain and a stretched face.
Yeah. I was going to do the Sontarans.
I don't know if I'm familiar with them at all.
The Sontarans are a race of humanoid aliens that are genetically created into suits of armor.
Okay.
And this way that their pure purpose is to take over other races. The question...
And are these the Cybermen, or are they different from the Cybermen?
They're different from the Cybermen.
Because they sound kind of very similar.
Well...
Or did they just run out of ideas?
It ran out of ideas.
Okay.
So the Sontarans are more like biologic versions of the Cybermen.
Okay.
The question I have is... Why would, if you were creating the ideal soldier, why would you make them look like... Why would they
be made out of meat
at all? Yeah, why would they be made out of meat at all? There are...
And also, why would they look like what?
Well, they look like potatoes, but... like...
Okay.
Yeah, they look like potatoes. You gotta look up what a Sontaran looks like. That's what I want to answer. Why would this be your choice? In what world is your ideal soldier?
Oh, yes, they do look like potatoes.
They do look like potatoes.
These guys look dumb.
Yeah, right? And you think, like, the worst thing... Like, if I were to create a race of alien, if I had the world's canvas, and I had to create a race of aliens, you know what I would create?
Anything but a potato.
Yeah, I would pretty much create droidicas. Like, big old spheres. Maybe not so slow on the walking front. That was not a good design choice. You want rounded features. You want...
Oh, this guy's got rounded features.
Maybe 2 rounded features, but not his body. It's only his head. It was like someone took half of the Stormtrooper design and was like, yeah, let's just do this. This seems like a good idea. This is something I do like about their creation, which is that they only have a single weak spot on their armor, which is the like ventilation port on the back of their neck. That means that they can never turn their back on an enemy unless they want to die. So they have to always be facing their enemy in combat.
Yeah, if it's otherwise impenetrable armor, then go for it.
You haven't answered my question. Why would you make this?
I have lost track of your question. Why would they make this?
Do you think that someone's just really bad at designing creatures, or is there a deeper meaning?
Well, they were created, right?
Oh yeah, or they are like genetically modified by themselves, but yes.
Okay, so they were made to look that way, so no one accept them as their leaders, so they would just take over for whoever created them.
Wait, are you saying that they created a creature so ugly
that no one would accept them as their leadership? Yes.
That is genius. That is genius, because then you also keep down rebellion, because you're like, these guys, I mean, no one's going to rebel because they literally are so ugly and uncharismatic. They cannot hold a civilization together.
Right.
Sweet. I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's a good idea. I just wanted to bring the Sontarans into this because I really like them as a creature.
As a potato?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I think the guy who was coming up with that one day was like, I got an idea, guys. So, since you mentioned them, the Cybermen. Now, anyone who doesn't know this, the Cybermen are a race of cybernetic men. They...
Very clear explanation. Just slightly reorder the words.
They're humanoid. They're robots, really. But they contain... here is actually an explanation for them. They possibly contain organic brains as their computational devices. So
it's not even possibly. Like, I think there was an episode where they processed humans into cybermen, isn't there?
But maybe that's why they have to process humans into cybermen, is that there's not a processor that they are aware of that can handle... It's like a shortcut to artificial intelligence is why not just steal real intelligence?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Oh, okay. Well, then that was easy.
Well, I mean, why develop artificial intelligence when you can just take it?
That's true. Okay, so next...
Like, it's a very pragmatic approach.
Next thing we got are the Daleks. Is that how you say it? Daleks?
Dalek,
it is
yes.
Daleks.
The Daleks, the little trash can fellows with plungers on them.
Yeah, they also have, like, magnetic fields that deflect bullets and stuff like that. So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Daleks...
Go on.
Yeah, I'm thinking... Because I want to, like... I'm not thinking because I don't know. I want to choose my words wisely. I believe...
That's probably the smartest thing we've done this whole episode.
I believe the Daleks have, like, a magnetic shield. And it's called a magnetic shield. That repels, like, not lasers, like, bullets. Metal bullets. Mm-hmm. Why would people not just use non-magnetic bullets? Like, aluminum is a non-magnetic metal. You could just make a bullet out of aluminum. Or, like, gold or silver or platinum. All those things cost
Or just anything non-ferrous.
Yeah. Lithium. They'd be a crazy bullet.
Because people hadn't thought of it. People didn't have the time to create the infrastructure to make non-ferrous bullets because Daleks just kind of, like, blitzkrieg their way onto planets. I don't know.
So what you're saying is that it's more of, like, an economics issue of, like, we know the Daleks exist, we know they have these shields, but is it really worth it? Oh my gosh, yes it is. Is it really worth it to invent a bullet that can kill a Dalek? And the answer is...
less that, more like, we don't know Daleks exist. Oh, look, things we can't shoot.
But humans know. Like, there's a whole section of humanity that knows the Daleks exist. However, that section of humanity keeps on being protected by the Doctor. So maybe the Doctor has totally messed up this market because he provides free assistance for killing Daleks. And the humans are like, well, we're not going to, like, advance our technology in any way because... it's too much
we
money.
Don't need to work it out because we know the Doctor will catch wind of this sooner or later and come save everyone.
We have literally a free army in one man.
Right. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of into that explanation.
The Doctor is stagnating human ingenuity.
Well, I mean, when you have someone that just provides for you, then of course that will stagnate.
There's no incentive.
Ingenuity, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like this.
Yeah, me too.
So we do have the angels. What are they actually called?
Right.
Weeping
I think
angels.
they're just the weeping angels.
The weeping angels. That's what they are. So the weeping angels are. They've had. Wow, that is like a couple of seconds of really audio.
Well, go ahead, give it another shot. I believe in you. Maybe this time it'll be a keeper.
The weeping angels are a race of alien that exists in a quantum state where if you are observing them, their waveform collapses into a stone structure, but when you're not observing them, they are free to move about and kill, and they feast off of time energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also made no sense to me. They eat time energy by sending you back in time and then consuming what time you would have had left. Was that it?
So here's what I'm thinking of. We've already figured that the movement through time takes a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're like a group of well, let's assume that the Time Lords and the time-traveling races have existed for long enough. So the Weeping Angels are like a parasite that evolved alongside the Time Lords to steal the energy that comes off of their time traveling. So once they grow to a point where they can exist as their own species, they can exist away from the Time Lords, it's because they have stolen or created technology that can feed them by sending people back in time repeatedly.
You know, I'm thinking actually instead of like subsisting on time or whatever, because that doesn't make sense, they're just like giant capacitors that build and store energy, and they have to like spend that energy on something, you know, super energy hungry, or I don't know, they would overload and die or something.
Oh, so you see it as like respiration, like they're getting rid of their CO2.
Yes, right.
Which to them is this just high capacitance energy, and the only thing that really has the energy to really deplete them,
like to drain it, to deplete that, is to send people back in time.
Okay. I think, I like that idea. It's pretty cool. I don't know how you would have created... I still like my parasite theory. I like thinking of the Weeping Angels as like human... What's the
Tardigrade.
No, what's the bug that lives in people's hair?
Lice?
Yes. Like lice versus genital crabs.
Okay.
Genital crabs is an older form of lice. Lice only developed with humans because we grew lighter hair on our heads, while crabs resemble things that are on like gorillas and the other primates. So I'm thinking like, take that form of evolution, where as a new thing is developed in a species, these are the primo efficiency animals. These weeping angels. So they can just... There's a guy on a bike outside.
Yeah, was there like a race car in your living room there for a minute?
Pretty much. So there's a guy with a guy that doesn't make any sense. There's weeping angels are creatures that
right
are so energy efficient that they end up storing too much energy. So like they would get fat is the way to kind of think of it in human terms. They get they get unhealthy stores of energy. They have to release it. That's what you're thinking of.
Yes. Essentially.
Maybe we'll do a second Doctor Who episode because we have not made it all the way through this. However,
like I know we haven't even scratched the surface, and I haven't really watched that much Doctor Who.
Yeah, so add it to the list of things we have to go back to. Someday we'll go back to this. If we get enough listeners that we can actually have a season 2 to this podcast, we will do a second Doctor Who episode. Anyway, the thing I want to explain are sonic screwdrivers. What are they?
Yes, sonic screwdrivers, the panacea to everything that needs to be done in the Doctor Who universe.
Yes. If you are a screwdriver, everything is a screw. Which...
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, how does a sonic screwdriver, like, because it's a screwdriver. It actually is supposed to work as a screwdriver. How would a sonic screwdriver work? Are we saying that they have a different type of screw in the future?
They have a sonic screw in the future?
Yeah. They might, though. Wait. Oh, my God.
Is there a sonic screw that is extant today? Is that what you just realized?
No, is there?
I don't know.
No.
You're the engineer.
But think about it this way. You think about, like, soldering or plastic molding that's done with high-frequency vibrations, right? So imagine a screw that doesn't need to be turned, but instead it's slightly larger than the hole.
Just rivet it to the hole?
Not rivet it. You essentially are melting it, but you're vibrating it at a specific frequency that causes it to liquefy. Really what's happening is that you're just creating the perfect opportunity for the atoms of the screw and the atoms of whatever it's going into to line up so that they can slide together.
Right.
And so that once you turn it off, you have not unbreakable, but you have essentially a solder or a weld point.
Mm-hmm. And he, like the Doctor and other Time Lords, can use that for every other technology as well, somehow. How would that happen? How would that work? Because, so here's what it is. To do that, the screwdriver has to understand the material, the fluid it's within, the distance to the material. So it has to compute an enormous amount of data. So these are like very small supercomputers. So all the screwdriver actually is when it gets used on all this stuff is it's literally a screwdriver. Well, it's literally a screwdriver that has been like jailbroken to work on every type of technology. Because all it needs is just a way of communicating with the technology, and then it can. So think like it's literally like smart home technology. It's you have taken your phone, which is something that is only really meant to make calls, and you can now like change your thermostat. You can, if you have an Arduino board, you can literally make anything in your home happen with your phone. That's what I'm saying that sonic screwdriver is. Yeah, I'm actually really okay with that, where it is just literally a very specific tool, except the Doctor uses it for basically everything else because they can make it work one way or another. You've essentially just jailbroken a smart screwdriver. Right. So, like, you've taken your smart fridge and you've made it your phone. And now it plays Doom. Yes. And now it plays... Exactly. You've taken your smart fridge and now it plays Doom. I hope that someone has done that. I know someone has, and I want them to. The person is... I'm pretty sure they have. I have recently read an article about someone running Doom on a McDonald's point-of-sale computer. That's pretty impressive, actually. Right? Cool. So, I think we're done. We'll do a part 2 to this episode. Maybe next week. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. Yeah, we'll see how we feel. We'll see how much we really want to think about this. It's a lot of stuff. There's so much. Much. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Joe Sopchak for our theme music. Thank you. And feel free to visit us at pedantichandwavium.com or pedantichw.com. Those are the letters in Handwavium. I remembered eventually. Give us show suggestions. You can subscribe to us on basically any podcasting service. Yep. Leave reviews on Apple iTunes, and we're also on Twitter. Keep listening. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we made a Twitter ages ago, and then I forgot about it, and now Simon is in charge of it. Yep. That's exactly what it is. So you can follow us on Twitter. That'd be awesome. That helps people like show up people to us through Twitter. That's a pretty good way to do it. You can also, I uploaded recently all of the YouTube episodes. If you don't like podcasting for some reason, which I don't know why you're listening to this,
but we do exist on YouTube, and we will continue to exist on YouTube until Google shuts down and all of our videos go down.
Yeah, so when server maintenance fees get too expensive for us, we'll still be on YouTube.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
Is there anything else we have to do?
Okay,
I would like you to say...
that's it.
I would like, because I've already done this, and I like making you do things. I would...
Do I have to do a sign-off in a bad Cockney accent? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I want you to do. Not a bad. Do your best Cockney. I want you to really...
Oh, okay, so not an over-the-top bad one.
Yeah.
Which was going to be my excuse as to why it was over-the-top and bad, is because that's what I thought you wanted.
Nope. I want you to give me your best. I want to be able to make fun of you because you tried.
Rather than copped out all the other times?
Yes. I listened to that SpongeBob
what's Cockney?
episode. You definitely copped out on that last.
Oh, yeah, no, I had no intention of participating.
Hello, governor, is the easiest one to do.
Yeah, I don't want to lean on governor, but I think I'm going to.
My hands are all sweaty.
But what do I want? Alright, govs, we'll see you next time.
Cheerio, mate.